put it bluntly.
Hello everybody and welcome to Put It Bluntly. I'm the Wobbly Gamer
I'm Cameron Field.
and today we are joined by none other than...
Gameish idiot. Hello.
Hello, thank you for joining us. How are we both this week? It is currently 8 o'clock on a Wednesday evening and it's the first cold evening we've had in the swamp land.
I got to shut my window.
The wife made me boost my heating. I'm raging. We were at 6 degrees this morning.
Oh, 6.
Really chilly this morning. I was in my shorts still though. I'm determined. I'm Scottish, so
Yeah,
that's taps halfway.
you're a bit more northern than me and Cam, just a touch.
Just a tad, yeah.
So, who are you, Big Hamish? I know you quite well. We met through PUBG, through Twitch. I'd like to say we've become quite good friends. We play
I think so. I think we do. We play
quite a lot.
lots of different games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Started off with PUBG, then you've joined the Pro Club's Momentum, and we've played survival games, co-op games, lots of different games. But tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do, streaming, and
Well,
yeah.
I am Big Hamish. Big Ham. I am a streamer. Been streaming for 3.5 years now. PUBG partner. Code Big Hamish. Have to get that in. Advocate of mental health, disabilities. I'm quite openly talk about my own mental health and what I go through year to year, day to day. Mainly stream PUBG with loads of different types of people from all over the place. Wobbles, obviously being one. I've not played with Cameron yet. Do you play PUBG, Cameron?
Yeah, he got me started on it, and then I won a game, and I was like, oh, this is easy, but then he
Completed it, mate.
it's like an easy game.
Yeah, it's like I went up and he's like, just play the casuals and won it. I was like, it's that good? I was like, yes.
That's it.
I
So people from all over the country, north of Scotland, North England, South England.
It's not
That's been one of the biggest things for me during streaming, was meeting so many different people from loads of different backgrounds, loads of different environments, how they're brought up in different countries across the world. It fascinates me. Like it's something I never thought was going to happen. I've met people from America to Australia. It's been a crazy ride, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, so we've kind of crossed into, like, our communities are very similar in peoples. To put it bluntly, Cam's smiling because I've said it.
He said the thing.
he said the thing.
So yeah, we've now like
Imagine.
get the badge in. We've now kind of had meetups. We've met each other.
We have.
We've had what are we on? You've met everyone twice now, pretty much, because of Manchester and ICU, and like everyone. You've met Paul.
Laser's wedding.
Laser's wedding. I didn't. Yeah, Laser's wedding. I went to Displux's wedding, and these are people that some of these people will probably appear on the pod at some point or another. And it's a nice. There's a nice community feeling, isn't there? We all support each other. We've got a group chat where we talk continuously, and we mentioned it this week again, so it's been mentioned. It's something again that's about mental health, and you said yourself you quite promote about it, talk about it, and it's helped that hugely. You have very much ingrained that as part of your community. If someone comes in the morning into your chat on a Twitch morning on Monday morning at 9:30 and you start streaming and someone goes, I'm not feeling right, the first thing you do to them is go, tell me what's the matter.
Yeah, so I always I don't want to put pressure on people to do it in a public space. That's one thing. Like, if they're comfortable to do it, I'm happy to lead that and go down that route. But I always offer the DMs as well, because not everyone wants to be public about what they're going through. Especially if there might be people in the chat that they know personally as well. Sometimes it can be quite anonymous from different bits around the world, but not everyone wants to. Is not comfortable with that. Maybe not strong enough to to go into detail. So I do offer my DMs out. And some people do take that option up instead of doing it live. But the mental health thing was a massive thing for me. My wife can attest to that, because when I first started streaming, I didn't know if I wanted to be open about it. You know, when people started coming in and chatting to me, and I was like, it's still such a taboo subject. People can assume wrong of you for why you're doing it. People can think you're doing it for sinister and personally horrible reasons. So it was like, perception is everything when it's to do with content creation, how people perceive you. And so that did play in my mind so much. I was like, if people might perceive me as like, just like making myself look down or sad or whatever for views or whatever, things like that. So it did really, it was like a 50-50 for a while. And I spoke about it with my wife like many nights, and ultimately I decided that I didn't care what people thought. I was like, if I can help one person, even if I don't know if I'm helping them, then that's enough for me to do it. Because even like you streaming, anyone streaming, you don't know who's watching. You don't know who's watching at any one time from anywhere in the world. And just hearing you talk about it, that could be just enough of a trigger, just that positive outlook, just to go, you know what, I'm not alone. Maybe I can do something. And that in itself was what made me decide to be open. I don't care if people think I'm using mental health or if I'm not actually suffering it. I'm not going to please everyone. You can't please everyone. I'm not going to defend myself. I made the call, and I'm glad I did. I've had people message me privately saying thank you and things.
Oh,
That means more to me than anything, to be honest. Like, it's such an amazing feeling knowing that you've been a sort of catalyst. Like, this is what I always say. Like, if someone does mention it to me that I was the reason that they took further steps and went to therapy or whatever, they still did the hard thing. They still did the step. It's still them doing it. I've maybe just done a wee spark or a wee catalyst or a wee nudge. They've took that leap, like, and it's such a strong thing to do. So I always make sure they know that. Like, yeah, I do feel honoured that I can give that to people, but they need to take almost like responsibility to know that they done it. You know, I might have just pushed them, but they took that step, which is the hardest. It's the hardest step to know that you need help and to then reach for it. And that trumps anything. Thousands of viewers, thousands of subs, whatever. Knowing that I can have that sort of impact on just one person is incredible to me, and that's why I'll never stop, despite any negativity that I've had. I'll never stop, because I know that I've helped people, and that's it. That's enough.
And I think
for me,
as a testament to you do, I personally, you help me when I have problems, personal problems with some things. I'm going through a rough patch in my life. You and when Wes used to stream, your guys in the morning kept me company through some really crap times, and it does help. Makes the hell of a difference. And yeah, when you say you don't like praise for it, but you have created a really nice little corner.
I find it difficult to take compliments.
Yeah, I know you do.
I'm my biggest critic of myself, but no, the mental health thing is massive for me. I wish I could do more. I wish there was more things I could do. During the last 3 years, it's time for me has been limited, but I do want to do courses and different things so that I can get a wee bit more professional help. So I always make that clear as well. Like, I'm not a professional. I'm not a therapist. I'm not going to solve your problems. That's not what this is about. I don't want to ever lure someone into thinking, oh, this guy's going to fix me or help me. All I'm doing is just trying to give someone that wee positive feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for me personally, that's how, like, in the morning, if I get a wee positive feeling from wherever it comes from, I try and use it, so that's how mental health works for me. If I feel even a slight bit positivity, I will go all in on that positivity. If you're feeling positive in the morning, get out, go for a walk, use that positivity, and then it kind of snowballs, and you keep feeling more positive, and then hopefully you can be in a, because when you're so negative and so down, your brain doesn't think properly. It doesn't think, well, what's going to help me here, or what's going to, almost for me personally, it's like self-sabotage. When I'm in that zone, it's like I want to sabotage myself.
Yeah.
My mind is doing that. So if I get that wee bit of positive, that's how I can almost trick my brain and lead on and try and find other ways to help myself. And that's another thing, like what works for me doesn't always work for everyone, but that positivity might help you find what is right for you and what's the right method for you going forward. Because I get a lot of people who have done different things after coming in and chatting to me. So they've identified what they think is going to help them, and they've been able to do it. And that's why mental health is such a difficult subject, such a difficult thing, because all our brains work differently. All our brains deal with things different in different ways. So the more experience and the more people that open up about it, the more range people can see and say, oh, that's worked for them.
Especially in like
Maybe it worked for me.
the demographic you kind of appeal to, because it's
That was another thing,
The
yeah.
PUBG
Obviously, men.
the PUBG communities. It is predominantly male. Let's be honest. It's
It is.
predominantly male. It's predominantly a lot of egos and a fair amount of toxicity. And
That's another reason, though. Like, seeing a big ginger bearded Scottish guy being vulnerable and talking about it, you know, that people will judge it, of course they will, that's just people's natures, but other people who are suffering and struggling, like, it's not a sign of weakness, and that's why I do talk about it, because it's not weak to talk about it, it's not weak to feel that. If anything, it shows strength, that you can get through each day given what you deal with. To me, that's a sign of strength, not a sign of weakness, and that's why I keep talking about it and why I want to make it casual. Like, I would love for mental health to just be part of everyday conversation. You go into the office, you go, how are you feeling? And 9 times out of 10, the person you've asked will just go, oh, I'm fine, how are you? Even if they're not fine.
Yeah.
Because they don't feel comfortable to say it because of the way people perceive it. You know, it's a sign of weakness and all this. But it'd be great if that person could just go, you know what, I'm a bit down today. And then now the person can either go, do you want to talk about it? Or just distract, whatever they feel comfortable with. It doesn't need to be heavy. It doesn't need to go into detail. Just, you know what, I'm not actually feeling that great. That's positive in itself. Just admitting that to yourself and being able to say it out loud can be enough to perk you up. I would love to see that. And that's why I do talk about it openly on stream, is because it's not weakness. It's strength, and people need to know that. People, obviously in the male demographic, its suicide rate is extremely high because they think it's weak, and because they don't know where to turn to and how to get help, and they feel lost and alone. You know, and anyone in that category could be watching any stream at any time. That's the way I look at it. And it's not just men. You know, I've had women contact me as well, saying that hearing me talk about it, because I think women get, like, obviously we talk about how in the male demographic the suicide rate is high and stuff, so I feel like women know that, so they maybe don't want to talk about, do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that happens as well. We're all dealing with issues, we're all dealing with stresses and worries. We all should come together and be open and try and help each other, and that's what I try and do.
And I think you do it really well. So something that you've touched on is
Sorry, I when I talk about mental health, I just
no, it's fine. No,
it's one of
the reasons we got you on, because I think it's a big talking point, and you talk about it so well, and there's such a generations.
There's been a massive change for sure. It still needs more. There's still people out there that don't believe in it or don't or judge it, and like seeing people like say that they don't believe in it, like that just winds me up. Something awful. It's like, how dare you say that? So you don't know what's going on in someone's head. How can you say you don't believe in it? If someone tells you that they're depressed or anxious, who are you to turn around and say, nah, that's not a real thing, that doesn't exist, man up? You know, that term's always used to just don't think it, just be happy. You know, like it winds me up. So there's still lots to do, but it's definitely, this generation is changing for sure. Like when I was at school, mental health was never spoken about, never mentioned in school whatsoever. My parents never talked about it. My brothers, no one. I was depressed at school, but I didn't know. I didn't know what it was. I had no idea. It's only when I look back now, I know I can identify what was going on and what was wrong with me, but I had no idea at that point in time. Whereas now, like, they talk about it in school, I talk about it openly with my kids, you know, we talk about their feelings, try to be more open. So I think you're right with the generational thing. I think it is going that way, where people are more open to it and more open to talk about their feelings and whatnot. So I know, like, my dad's like manly man.
Yeah.
He wouldn't talk about his feelings. And that's just a generational thing. That's where it comes from. There's nothing wrong with that. If you don't experience mental health, it's hard to understand what someone else is going through. So I feel I appreciate that. I don't expect people to know what to say and know the right thing. I just expect people to, like, accept that there are people struggling, that it does exist. And if you can't help, just don't say anything. This is my view on it, because the people who don't believe it, whenever they are involved in chats about mental health, it doesn't go so well. So just don't say anything if you can't say anything positive.
I think that's a nice point to move on there. Something that's... Oh wait, where did Big Hamish come from? Because it's not your name.
Hey, whoa! Are we you're gonna be on the spot now?
Yeah. I'm not gonna. I won't dedox you and say your name, so I know it. But I will say, where did the Hamish come from?
So I wasn't always this hairy, but I always had a big kind of bushy beard, ginger, and obviously I had
Bushy beard.
great, yeah, that one. I'm not going to try that accent because it'll be really bad. I had long hair as well, so, and I was heavier, so I was always compared to William Wallace's best pal in Braveheart, Hamish. He's a big, beefy, long hair. So that was my nickname. Essentially, I was Hamish. And then when I started streaming, I didn't really know the world of streaming and stuff, so I wanted a bit of anonymity from it, to kind of protect myself. And I was like, well, I'm not going to go by my real name. Hamish suits me. I wish I was called Hamish. I'm not going to lie. I wanted to change it, but my wife wouldn't let me.
When I found out your actual name, I was like, no, it's not. It's Hamish. He looks like a Hamish. He sounds like a Hamish.
You know, like, when I was on my now brother-in-law's stag do, one of his best pals is called Hamish, and he looks nothing like a Hamish. I was like, we need to switch names. I'm not happy with this.
That's a Dougal. That's a Dougal.
Honestly, I was like, I look more like a Hamish, and Hamish works. You know, people come in and go by a name like that. They know I'm Scottish as well, so kind of it fits my personality. I like, the only person that would call me by my name is my wife, and to be honest, she barely says my name. It's more like Fanny or Dickhead or whatever. Anyway, so I barely hear my own name. I hear Ham and Hamish way more. That's what I would turn my head to Hamish more than I would my real name. I've always not really liked my real name, to be honest. My mum wanted a boy and a girl, and she got 3 boys. I was her kind of last hope, so she gave me a name that she could shorten to then spell a girl's way. So I didn't know it was a girl's spelling. I didn't know it was a girl's spelling, so all through school I was spelling my name the girl way. And it was only in high school that I found out, and I was like, I need to change that right now. And I forced it. Like, I just wrote in all my jotters and everything, the male spelling, because my mum was just desperate to have a boy and a girl, and she got 3 boys, unfortunately for her. So yeah, so my name has never really been associated with me, really. I do associate Hamish and Ham more than my whole name. I don't know what that says about me, but I wish I was called Hamish. I would change it for sure, but my wife doesn't want me to. Yeah, well, she's the leader. She's the boss.
That's
pain in the arse changing all the bank accounts and everything as well.
Well, there's all of that as well. Marriage certificates and whatnot. What a faff. I'll just put Hamish on everything. Like say when I sign, like if I'm online and doing, like, you need to put your first name and your last name. Like if it's to do with streaming, my first name is Big. It's always Big Hamish.
Lights Wobbles. Yeah.
Well, so that's my name. So you don't need to know.
So was it? It was last. Was it this year or last year? You did something quite drastic. Had some research, and there is
Stuff like Macmillan.
the Macmillan. Yeah, there's clips all over the internet of you doing the doing the drastic deed of shaving off the beard. It was
quite traumatizing, to be honest. I mean, shit, it was a massive thing because obviously my beard is my brand. It was synonymous with everything. It was the reason why so many people clicked on my stream. You know, but I didn't know anything about this, but clickbait obviously is a real thing, and you're just a wee box on Twitch. If someone's searching, why would someone click on you? So you've got your stream title and you've got your face. That's pretty much it. So the amount of people that would come in and go, "Oh, I'm following for that beard. That's magnificent." Like, it's crazy. Like, it's probably at least 50% of my followers is came in and stayed for the beard. So it's like a clickbait thing. So it was huge. It was a huge thing. But I'd always planned to do it. Once I realised I was getting viewership and stuff, I was like, they helped me when I was younger, and I've never been in any position to help them back. And I was like, well, this is my opportunity to kind of say thank you. And so they helped me out with £500, and we raised just over £1,500 for saving it. So well and truly repaid them, and it was a great experience, and the generosity of the community was crazy. I mean, you boil it down, it's just a man shaving his beard. It doesn't sound like a huge deal, but because of how synonymous it was for me and it was my brand, it was huge, and people knew that and knew how I felt about it.
It was a moment watching you do it, because it was funny, and it was also at the same time it was like a lot of us
losing that art of me.
It was like losing your shield, your armor kind of thing. It was. Because
when I did get my beard and I did start streaming, like, my confidence did rise, and when I was out and about, having the big beard gave me that confidence. It was like a security blanket. It was huge for me, and it built my confidence up so much. Like, doing this to now, like, I would never have been able to do this 3 years ago. It never happened. Like, my anxiety, my shyness, I was really shy. I'm introverted. You know, I don't like going out and putting myself out there. I do now because I feel like I have something to give, where I never felt like that before. I was always just sitting in a corner, and if someone talked to me, I'll talk back, kind of thing. Like, I wouldn't put myself out there, because I didn't think I was funny. I didn't think I was interesting, you know. And probably that's probably to do with my two older brothers. Like, my dad used to always say that they would overshadow me. They were so loud, they would be centre of attention, and I would just hang back and let them go for it. So, like, I never really put my personality out there. So that didn't feel silly, I guess. I don't know. Like, I just didn't have that self-esteem and confidence.
I think,
and because like, people, when I say that, people are like, and you started streaming. I didn't start streaming to stream. It wasn't about people coming in, because I didn't think anyone would. And if they did, they would just immediately click off. I had no confidence, no faith in myself at all at the start. And I remember telling my family that I was going to do it, and they were just like, "Who's going to want to watch you, G'dag?" And I agreed with them. Like, that was my viewpoint on it as well. So when people did start coming in, I was like, hang on a minute, the people actually like what I have to say and enjoy watching my content. And that was like the biggest confidence boost I could ever get. It's a single reason why I was able to do the best man speech at my brother's wedding. I would never have done that. I would have never been able to do that beforehand. I essentially channeled Big Hamish that day. I felt myself going into it.
I felt
myself going into that, because my anxiety throughout that morning was pretty high for doing it. even right up to that moment. But as soon as I picked up that microphone, it was like a switch just went off.
Yep.
And I went into Big Ham, and the accent, like everyone came up. Like, it was a short one, it wasn't a huge one or anything, but everyone came up and said, like, you spoke so well, like it was such a great speech. Like, I was so confident with it.
Yeah, it's because
I wish someone recorded it.
you haven't got Pout calling you a big ginger prick in the background. That's why.
Honestly, he's raging at me doing this. Just if he's watching. Don't know if I'm allowed to stick the figures up, but there you go. Edit it.
So you said, obviously we touched on the mental health, your streaming, and PUBG. So your PUBG partnership came about, and that's a big badge of honor, isn't it?
That was huge.
Yeah,
that was huge. It was specifically huge around the circumstances of it, because no one else got it. Like, it was me and one other person, I think, in the UK, that got PUBG partner for consoles, and that was massive. It put a dampener on it a little bit, because I felt like other people were deserving of it. But it made me realise, like, I do have something to offer. They obviously have seen that, because there was only 2 people in the whole of the UK that year who got partnership, and then there hasn't. I don't think there's been. They did it the year after, actually, and I think another 2 got it.
Was it even 2? Yeah, there was 2. Yeah,
I think it was 2 the year after. So it's very, 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 very limited for who they were handing out partnerships to. So that gives me a massive confidence boost as well. Like I said, it did put a dampener on it, because I had friends who stream and different things, so I felt could offer just as much as I could to the partnership program. But it was huge for me, and once I get past that kind of feeling, like just accepting that, like, I've been seen by the people who you want to be seen by. It was like a stamp, a badge of something that I could put on, that, well, this is my content creation. Something has came of it, you know. Someone's seen it. It's had an impact.
It turns it from just you creating content to you actually being recognised as a content creator. Yeah. There's a two difference between creating content and being a content creator, I think. And that's kind of when you kind of get your first partnership or your first brand deal, you kind of then consider yourself and go, do you know what, actually I can probably now call myself a content creator. Like, officially, if you call me an influencer, I will backhand you so hard.
I'm gonna be a beard influencer.
Yeah,
that's my play.
And it is such.
On Instagram.
And getting your first partnership like that is such a big deal, isn't it? It's like you've said, it does make it kind of affirms to yourself personally as well what you've kind of achieving is working, and you're doing something right.
Well, the year before, or the year running up to that, I had another opportunity that went bad. It was Essien headphones. They wanted to sponsor me or partner with me. They actually sent someone out to my house it's the in-ear ones. So they put stuff in your ear to measure so that it fits in perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
The mold. So the guy came out and molded everything, and then heard nothing for like 2 months. I was like, what's going on here? I kept messaging them, and they were like, oh, we've been really busy, and there's a new model coming out and all this. Leave it with us, and they just left it. Didn't bother at all, didn't tell me nothing. And the guy who wanted to do it ended up leaving that company and going elsewhere as well. And I was like, there's obviously some other issues, but that was like something that I had built up. Like, I was like, a technology, something that I use every day, something that I can promote because I'll be using it. That was always what I wanted to do. If opportunities like that came up, it was like, that's why I don't have energy drinks sponsorships and these things, because I don't drink it. It needs to be something that I'm passionate about and I use all the time, and I can say, you know what, this is actually really good.
Just getting the chair logo, just getting the chair logo in there for your hand, because
which is a beard oil coming.
Well, I've got. It's not on my desk. There was a Scottish bra beards, I think it was called, who were kind of interested. They sent me some samples and stuff, but I've not heard back from them at the moment. But yeah, the beard thing in Scottish is a good thing. So GT Omega are obviously Scottish based. this beer company, Scottish based as well. Like that is a big thing for me. You know, if it can help like a small Scottish business. Obviously GT Omega are not that small anymore, but they are obviously still growing and stuff. That kind of thing is a big plus for me. Something that's close to home and I use this every day, and it has been massive for me.
Oh,
I've
my
had shoulder
change.
pain.
Yeah.
My shoulder pain throughout my first 3 years streaming was incredible. I used to take painkillers before coming on streaming stuff in anticipation for how sore that was. And then even driving long distances would be a killer. Like it would be excruciating. Since I got this chair, I'll get wee niggles here and there because I think it's like there's some muscle damage in there or something. But it's like night and day different.
I
from the chair I was using.
Well, I'm not even affiliated with GT Omega, but the chairs are incredible. So we've obviously touched on the fact you raised money for Macmillan cancer research and support, and obviously you didn't mention why that's quite close to you. You mentioned the fact they gave you some money growing up as a child, but didn't touch on the fact that you do suffer from quite a rare condition. I say we know you're comfortable talking about it because we've asked. So if you want to touch on that a bit, I think it's quite an unusual take on video gaming and how it affects you gaming. It's quite a, yeah.
That was a good segue.
Thank you.
Nice transition into it. Yeah, so when I was 13, I had, around about 13, I had the condition. So I had marks all over my body, all over my torso, all over my back, basically from neck down to waist, covered, but it was under the skin. And I was dealing with exams at the time and different things at school. I was also overweight. I was small, so I kind of hid it. I felt ashamed of myself completely, for loads of different reasons at that point. This is when I was saying how I was depressed as a kid. I was ginger, small, fat, freckly, spotty, and then I had this on top of it. So I went into a shell, completely reserved, hid it from everyone, didn't take my top off in front of anyone. Nothing. So I hid it for about 2 years. And it was actually when we were in Florida. My mum, my granddad had passed away. My mum sold his house and got money, and this was the first holiday she'd ever taken us on. She finally had the money to do that, and that's what she wanted to spend it on, was to take us all away. So I went to Florida, and even in Florida, being ginger, my skin's bad anyway in the sun and in the pool, so I always wore a t-shirt anyway. So I still was able to hide it. It wasn't like, why are you wearing a t-shirt? They knew why I was wearing a t-shirt. I would burn, heavily burn. And it was just, I was on the couch in the house. I bent down to pick up, I think it was a tub of Pringles. My mum walked past just in that moment, and my shirt had rose up my back a wee bit, so she could see what my back was like. And immediately she's like, what is this? What is this? Kind of thing. So obviously I was like, I had to come clean at that point, and show what I was dealing with. So when we got home, it was about a year, passed around doctor to doctor because nobody knew what it was. It was under the skin. It wasn't like eczema or psoriasis or anything like that. And eventually I ended up at a skin specialist, getting biopsies done to confirm that it was a skin cancer called mycosis fungoides. Lovely name. Nothing to do with fungal.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's called that. It's the blood. Basically, my blood produces too many white blood cells, so instead of protecting the skin, it attacks the skin from the inside. Very fun, very pleasant. So that was about 15. I think I was 15, maybe 16 when I was officially diagnosed with it. Went through different light treatments and things. So the first dose didn't work. I then had to go for PUVA, which is the more extreme light. I had to take desensitizing tablets, 4 big, massive, that size tablets, 3 days a week, and I had to wear special sunglasses for a full 24 hours after that. And that's the thing that I remember most about it. So my mum came with me every single appointment. I had to go 3 times a week for I think 3 or 4 months the first time round. So I basically was wearing these glasses all the time. And I remember walking down just the town centre shops and everyone staring at me Like, why is this guy wearing sunglasses? And I still remember it to this day. Like, my mum just whipped out her sunglasses and stuck them on, walking down and indoors with me. The two of us looking gangster with our sunglasses on. And that was like, I didn't appreciate it at the time. I was young and a kid, but when I look back now, like, that's totally something I would do with my son if that ever happened. It's also like, being a father makes me realise like what they went through as well. Like, I couldn't imagine my kids going through that and being diagnosed with that. And being so young is also where a lot of my mental health comes from as well, because I didn't process it at the time. Like, I remember it vividly. I remember sitting, this was in Glasgow, and my mum was with me, and it was the first time I heard the cancer word. I'd never said that for quite a while. So this was a different specialist that I went to at this point, and he was like, you have skin cancer. And I was just like, okay. And he was like, did you hear what I said? And I was like, yeah. It just straight over my head.
Yeah.
It was my mum that was bawling her eyes out next to me, hearing her son has cancer. It's not a nice thing, but I didn't have the capacity to kind of process it at that age. And it's only in later life, when I was going through therapy and things, that opening up about it and being able to deal with it was massive. And then when I became a parent, I heavily backrolled, because first I was like, you need to research, can I pass this on? Is this hereditary? I don't want my sons getting it. And then obviously when I had my son, I was like, what, like, all the negative thoughts come in. It's like, what if I become terminal? What if I don't see him grow up? What if I'm not there for him when he needs me? All these things just come flooding back. And that's the most challenging thing for me. Before, it was all just what I was dealing with, but now it's how it impacts my family, and that's the massive thing. I try my best to not let it impact my family, but it does. Like, if we're out and it's a hot day, I'm in a lot of pain for most of the day. I try my best to force staying, but there's certain times where I need to take myself out. I need to recover. So, like, I'll need to go and sit in the car with air conditioning on or something, just to cool my skin down and feel better within myself. And that does have a heavy impact on me, because we do have to leave early and different things. And I do feel that on me, like, I'm ruining my kids' days and things like that. It's messy. It's with my head so much. And it's a fight all the time to feel like a good parent and deal with this at the same time.
I know you well enough to know you're a fucking good parent, so you've never got that to worry about. And you're not alone. I remember when Taz was born, and the first thing I did was, the midwife like swabbed away, wrap him tight as hell, don't know. And the first thing I did was unwrap him, moved his left arm, and he like pulled back. I was like, that's a good start, and then checked his eyes in case he was wobbling. It's such a natural.
My wife asked was, is he ginger, when my son came. That was what was on my mind. It's so bizarre. Like, me, my brother, my sister, like, we are heavy ginger. My other brother was blonde, and my youngest was born ginger, but kind of went more what my colour is now, more kind of brownie. And I've got two kids. My oldest has got one kid. My other brother's got two kids, and my youngest has got one kid, and no gingers.
None of them are
no
ginger.
Gingers. Like, it's like, I was watching them at the wedding. I was watching them all play together. I was like, they're all blonde. I was like, what is this? Like, it was nuts. Like, we've just totally ginger gene
Out the window. Yeah.
Gone. We're not doing it anymore. Like when I walk down the street with my two kids, people must be like, he's not the dad.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely not the dad. Yeah.
It's absolutely nuts.
Have you got any Swedish neighbours or Swedish milkman or?
Well, my brother was blonde, and that was always a joke. So there's 4 siblings, there's 5 of us, and we were all born ginger, and he was like bleach blonde when he came out, and my mum's dark haired and my dad's ginger, and I was like,
yeah,
doesn't really marry up. But my wife was like white when she came out, so blonde is the gene.
Your wife, yeah.
Or that, so that's also why we had that. But we always joked, like, 'cause I had kids first, and like my brother that was blonde gave us so much stick all the time for being ginger. It was like he used to in the house. He used to shout like "ginger hair is unacceptable" and all this. Like my dad being ginger would come out and belt him in the arse. I still remember that this is. He did it about 3 times, and every time my dad came out of the kitchen, scalped him on the arse. And then, like, the 3rd or 4th time, my brother put a pillow down his backside. So my dad came out, his scalp out of the arse, it was just this soft pillow. And that's how he always got out of trouble, because he always made my dad laugh. Like, my dad would be raging, and then he would do something, and my dad would just laugh, and that was it. And I hoped that he would have a ginger kid, but unfortunately
he never did. Yeah.
No. So I thought that would have been hilarious. That'd be karma at its finest. That he would be the only one to have a ginger kid.
No.
But yeah, so my condition, I'm itchy 24/7. Sometimes the itchiness can be painful, depending on situations. Temperature is a massive thing. Environment is a massive thing. Also, I suffer from eczema as well. So when my eczema's bad, it's like I'm being attacked from outside and inside my skin. That's when it's like the hardest to deal with. There's times where that's been absolutely horrific. The biggest issue is with the treatment, because I am ginger. My skin is extremely sensitive. So when I start light treatment, I'm literally in for 2 seconds. I go all the way to the hospital, get naked, get a thong on, jump in for 2 seconds, and then the next time it's 5 seconds, and it goes up like that. So the last time I did it, it was 6 months, and they basically said we have to stop because it's not about the length of time, it's about the exposures. So because I was exposing my body like 3 times a week for like 5-6 months, like they were like, I know you have skin cancer, but this could cause a different skin cancer. So it's finding a balance with everything. You know, I become desensitized to different creams, so I have to find new creams. It's just, that's my life, is constantly living on the edge, not knowing what each day is going to bring, and that's why my anxiety has been huge, because if I know I've got something coming up, I'm like, how's my skin going to be? How am I going to handle this? Is the environment, am I going to be able to deal with the environment? Am I going to be able to go out and do what I need to do and things? And that just gets into my head, and most of the time it's fine, but because I've already got that, anxiety raises my body temperature, so then my skin goes because my anxiety is going, and I'm like, I'm doing this to myself, and I'm like, I try to rein it in, I try and breathe and try and find coping mechanisms. So like my mental health is directly impacted on my physical health, and that's another reason why mental health is so important to me as well, is I need to be kind of balanced, and when I'm not balanced, it just throws everything off for me.
I'm not going to worry so much about walking into people now. Outdoors, yeah. I'm just, yeah.
Well, I mean, you're trying to walk into a person, they might be nice and helpful. Door's just going to be like,
doors just
get on the floor.
Yeah. Yeah, that's quite a
distraction is a big thing. So if you've you know yourself, if you've got an itch that you can't scratch, eventually your brain will just forget about it.
Yeah.
So that's what gaming is for me most of the time. Is I'm so distracted with chatting and gaming that I am itchy, but it's like I forgot I was itchy. So that's why like streaming and gaming is massive for me, because I can almost cope with it. Obviously there are days where that's not enough. That's the bad days. I will need to get naked, put creams on, go for baths and different things like that. I mean, there's been times where I've literally ripped my skin off for the relief, and and there's no reason why. Like I remember, I just went for a bath. There's nothing in the bath. It's just water, and right across my shoulders was excruciating pain, and I was like just clawing at my back, and I literally like ripped a chunk of my skin off, and it was relief. It wasn't pain. It was relief, and I only realised when I got out that there was blood dripped down my back. I'm like, I just ripped my skin off, and that was just from water. There was no products in it. There was nothing to irritate it. I've also got skin allergies that I need to avoid as well. Linalool, which is in bloody everything. All shampoos and soaps and everything. I'm allergic to nickel, which is in everything. It's really points, pens. So not that I want to moan about it, but every day is just...
Every day's, yeah. No, it's...
Try to get through the day.
And I think you can do it so, like, it's don't want to come across like we don't do I know you're the same as me, you don't do like the inspirational stuff. I'm not an inspiration, but credit where credit's due. You come on stream.
You are an inspiration. What are you talking about?
90% of the time you come on stream. No, I'd say 95% of the time you come on stream with a big smile on your face and do your manly jiggles. And
I need to get a new name for that now, with the perverts in this community.
And you come out and you make good content and you are yourself and you're happy. And I think it is a big credit to yourself and your family around you. So your family unit's incredible. Your wife.
My wife is the rock for sure. Yeah. And that was like, she'll be okay with me saying this, but like, we did a wee couples therapy because she didn't know how to help me.
Wow.
My wife is always someone that if she doesn't know the problem, like she struggles with a solution or whatever, like obviously as my wife, she feels like she needs to find that and help me. When she doesn't, like she just needs to be there, listen to me, whatever. But obviously I'm the same. Like if she's feeling down or whatever, I want to help. I want to do something to help her. But she really struggled with it, and we did go to therapy, to kind of process it together so that she kind of get a better understanding. And then she had a child, went through postpartum, went through our work that she returned to. She doesn't work for them anymore, but when she returned after maternity leave, they were horrific to her, and she ended up depressed, postpartum, anxious, and going through that, she not that she has appreciation, but she now understands what anxiety is, because anxiety is the toughest thing for people who have never had anxiety, about how it affects you, or like how debilitating it can be. So a lot of people don't realise, like say if I have a panic attack, my body shuts down. Like I've had to literally stop the car because my arms go jelly-like, my head goes all over the place, I go dizzy. That's mental health causing physical implications. Yeah. A lot of people don't understand that it's not just a case of what you're feeling in here. It can affect your body huge. So obviously she got an insight into that. I wish she didn't. I wish she never had to deal with any of that. But that's kind of where we are. We both support each other. Like there'll be weeks where I'm in a better place and she's not, and I can help support her, and then vice versa. She's in a better place and I'm not. The worst weeks are when we're both down. We're both down at the bottom, trying to get through the week. And that's where streaming came from. During COVID, we were rock bottom, both of us. Really, 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 really struggling to get through each day. We were key workers. We had a baby and a toddler at the time. We couldn't get any help. We felt lost. And it was really, really difficult. I felt I was slipping into like a deep depression. And at that moment, that's when the positive aspect of it, I was gaming with an old buddy of mine, and he was going through some different things caused by COVID for him, and we both decided, why don't we just learn how to stream, just the act of it, just process of research, talking to each other at night. So we'd come in at night once the kids were settled. We'd come in at night, we would sit down, we would research streaming, research what you need, like OBS and all the different things, capture cards. Just that just took me out of the situation that I was in, gave me a focus with someone else, and that's why I'll always be eternally grateful for streaming, because that is what hit me, like literally my fingertips. I was holding on my fingertips, and that's what gave me the positive aspect of it to get out of it. And then something that I didn't realise, like I'm, as I said before, an introvert. I'm very much happy in my own company. I love being by myself, thinking that I didn't need to socialise. But during COVID, and then starting to stream and realising what socialising can actually do and how big it can be for people, and that was huge for me. Even just like when I first started, I was streaming to nobody. If someone came in for 5 minutes just to say hello, I'd be like absolutely buzzing. I'd be like, that's me. I've had a social interaction. We've said hello to each other, said how you doing, we've got to know each other. Might not see that person again, but just that act of like being sociable in that moment was huge for me as well. And so learning how to stream got me climbing up, the socialising and the meeting new people, and being vulnerable with each other with mental health and stuff is what got me right out of that. It was huge deal for me, and you know, streaming can be difficult at times. It can be mentally draining at times for loads of different reasons, but I will always be eternally grateful for just the people that gave me a chance, the people that came in and spoke to me. Because I don't know where I'd be if that didn't happen. I honestly don't. It was really, it was the lowest point in my life for sure.
I think your community is a credit to you because you have created a very welcoming space on Twitch.
I hope so, because obviously there's a lot of banter and we joke about it and things like that, but I think deep down people know that they can be open.
Everyone can be themselves around your community or inside your community. No one has to. I don't feel like anyone puts on a persona or puts on an act. Everyone's kind of feels comfortable enough to drop the shields in front of you a little bit, and especially when you're gaming with you from past experience as well. It's a lot of fun, and it enables you to be yourself. You don't expect people to be good at a video game. You don't expect people to be a comedic genius. You just expect them to be themselves and enjoy their company, I think.
That's what gaming is for me. It's huge. It's like, obviously, like I don't want to name names, but I had the person who I played with today message me saying that they should just give up on PUBG because they're rubbish at it, and I'm like, that's like, give up on it if you don't like it. If you don't enjoy it, don't play it. You should only play games that you enjoy. Don't force it. If you enjoy playing it and you enjoy playing with the people, even if you're not getting 20 kills a game, you're still part of the community. You're still playing. You're still engaging. If you enjoy that part, as long as you don't feel like the people are judging, because you do get that. You do get people who obviously want to win and who want to play well and do the best, and they get angry if you mess up or whatever. So just avoid those people if you're doubting yourself. But that's why, like, my stream has never been about that. Like, at the start it probably was. I did put that pressure on myself. Like, I was pretty sweaty before I started streaming. Like, I'd be demanding I win every game. The people that I played with were like, we were all that mindset where we want to win every game, we want to win every engagement, and there'd be arguments and stuff. It was not a great feeling. I would come off not feeling like I enjoyed myself. I'd be lying awake at night going, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that, I've let that person down and stuff. I was like, this is not an enjoyable experience. And then when I started streaming, I put that pressure on. I was like, if someone's watching me, I need to be amazing, I need to be the best. And then I'd had missed shots, I'd be like, oh, I've just missed shots, I just made myself look stupid. Once I kind of got over that, and I realised that that's not what I want this to be about, so like I changed who I played with. You know, this is nothing against the people that I played with before. That was just not what I wanted to do. It's not who I wanted to be. And I totally changed my approach to the stream. The stream was very much about the stream and not necessarily the gameplay. I still obviously want to win. I still want to do some good things and let people be entertained. But it was more about the personality, more about the banter within the squad. Very much changed the vibes, and that changed my perception of gaming in general as well. I was like, you don't have to be the best all the time. You don't have to be top. It's just as long as you're having fun, enjoying it. You know, if Wobbly nades you instead of smoking you, just laugh about it. Just laugh about it back to the lobby.
And then use it as a clip on TikTok. It's all good.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's what I did. One of my big clips was it was Bally. I can't remember who. It was three of us. It was on like Old Vikendi, and we were trying to. There was a team who was in a house. We were trying to obviously get in the house and get them. We were all flinging nades. So I flung a nade, and it bounced out, killed Bally. He went to fling a nade, but just as he died to my nade, his nade dropped on his body. But I went down to res him. So then we all died to our own nades as we tried to push this house. You just laugh about it. Like,
yeah, back to the lobby.
It's one of those things.
Yeah.
Like, it happens. To do silly things. You laugh about it. Like, you don't get raging, and that was the thing. Like, no one was like raging at what happened. You do get people who'd be like, "Oh, I can't believe you missed that nade and you killed me." So what? It's a video game.
Yeah.
You know what? Just get on to the next one. You know, I'm all for saltiness. I do think saltiness is fine. there's a line between salt and toxicity for me.
Yeah.
Saltiness is in the moment. It gives you a wee bit of good feeling to get over what just happened. That's it. Then you move on. So you get a wee bit salty in the moment to make yourself feel better because you lost a fight or you died in a silly way, whatever. You made a wrong push. Wee bit of salt, move on to the next game, and that's it. Toxicity can go, obviously, they would make, like, a lot of people make it personal.
Yeah,
There's a lot of personal toxicity that goes around in the community, and there's good reasons for it. You know, people have been not very nice to other people and stuff like that, so I do understand that aspect of it. And there was an idea for a PUBG tournament that I was going to do. It would be duos mixed into squads based on clans. I did actually think about this, and it would bring different clans together
and make them play
force
together. Yeah, that'd be great. But
and force them to, because a lot of the time it'll be one person that has ruined the reputation of a clan,
yeah,
and the rest of them are all fine and are all nice people. But they get a bad rap because they're in a clan that's associated with this particular person or streamer or whatever. And so they'll be defensive for their clan as well. People will be attacking that clan. And that's why I took away the clan, because I couldn't be bored with it. It was just clan versus clan toxicity, and I was like, I don't care. I'm too old and tired to deal with that kind of thing. So that was my idea, was to bring different clans together.
That's a brilliant idea.
To work together and try and get on with each other. And it would be totally random. Like, I wouldn't try and put specific people together or anything like that. It would just be random, try to bring different areas of the community together kind of thing, in a positive light. And, like, it's not for content purposes, because I'm not going to hear what's going on in the party chat or whatever. It's just purely that people might make new friends, people might not. But I thought it was worth a goal.
I think that'd be quite funny. But
that would have been my go-to next tournament if I was going to do one.
I think that brings us to a very nice point where we will
say bye.
Say thank you for talking to us about yourself. To put it bluntly, this week it's been a lovely episode to have you on, Ham. And we've touched on some very quite big subjects and heavy subjects, but you as always, you've brought your lightheartedness and giant, soft, ugly personality to it. So
I hope so. I hope people don't think it's too heavy.
No, they won't.
Because mental health can be heavy, and that's another reason why, just before I'd put it in my stream title. You know, people wonder why I do that, but it's so that people know if you're not in a position to listen to mental health chat, don't click on the stream, basically. Because I know sometimes if you're going through something, hearing other people going through things can have the opposite impact on you. It can bring things up for you and things. So I understand that mental health can be heavy for people, and it can be the wrong time for people to talk about it and listen to it. So it's a difficult one to skirt around.
But on a positive note,
yes,
if you are feeling in a position where you'd like to talk to someone that doesn't find a small community on Twitch that are happy to ask how you are, play some video games with you, please do go check out Big Hamish 88. You can find him on Twitch, Twitter, all forms of social media. And that has been this week's episode. I would like to say a massive thank you again to Big Hamish. I've been the Wobbly Gamer.
I've been Cameron.
And Hamish, can you say done, please, in your best Gordon Ramsay impression?
But just done.
Perfect. Cheers, guys.
I'd eat a sandwich.